Hello everyone, welcome back for another video. So in this video I'm going to show the process of myself making my new workshop. So here you can just see us laying out some patio flagstones, whatever you want to call them. So I'm just using some of the old shed that I took down and getting everything placed. I have actually got markings on those pieces of timber. So once everything was marked out, just went around them, dug them out and removed the topsoil. It wasn't the best of jobs. It did start raining and the weather's been absolutely atrocious. I really picked a very bad time to start this, but I've started, so I'll have to finish it. So there you see it's just compressing it with my body weight, and now I just put some gravel into it. Once the gravel's in, just level it off with my hands, try to get it as good as I can. Put the stone on top and basically check it for level. I mean, most of these aren't like 100% level, because there's the texture of the stone, the slab itself is uneven, so they are pretty decent, close to level, but not 100%. Yeah, you can just see us cutting some material, and I actually just cut two sections just to start with, and this is going to be the width. So I get things laid out and I start putting the frame together. So there is an actual really long length, and that's 16 foot, as you can see, going down. It's at my back. Once I've got the four corners all fixed, I just kind of pull it around, get into position. So that's actually a piece of old OBS, and I'm actually using that to get that corner square. I go around, basically check to see if it's half decent, which it is. So as you can see, I actually added some corner braces, and this is just to help to keep the frame itself square, while I move it about. And as you can see, I'm actually leveling it up. The ground itself is very, very uneven. Ironically, I did actually order a 1 meter spirit level, which hasn't come, but I have actually got my trusty old scaffold level. I use one of these day in and day out when I'm at work. My daytime job is a scaffolder, so these are quite precise, even though they are quite small. Yeah, you can see us getting the mark for the legs, just using my Ryoba saw. These legs actually do sit underneath the frame. They do actually hold the frame up, as well as screws that are fixed into position as well. So here you can actually just see us cutting the notch section where the frame's going to sit. So one thing to note, chat, when I did actually measure this out, this is actually 10 millimeters shy from the outside of the frame itself. So I have actually used this method before with the shed I've just taken down. There was no signs of rot in any of the legs, so I've decided to use it again. So as well as the frame actually sitting in the notch or on top of the end grain, I do actually add screws to this as well. So next up, I cut all the joists. I did actually use my big Ryoba saw. This is the biggest one you can get, or the biggest one I've got rather, and it does actually make short work of cutting these 6x2s. I clamped a couple of pieces of scrap wood just for the joists to sit on while I get them into position and screw them in place. Yeah, you can see us putting in a couple of screws, and this is just to allow me to clamp the two sections together. In this 16-foot length, there is actually a bit of a kink in the 6x2, so it does need pulled in. So I did actually get all the framework done the night before, and overnight it did actually decide to snow. So here I'm just removing the snow and ice. I'm just using my chalk line here just to snap a couple of lines, and these are just for me noggins. So now I just add all the noggins and work my way down the frame. Once I fitted all the noggins, I just fell back on myself and started adding all of the intermediate legs. So I'm hoping this is going to be quite solid when it's finished. Obviously there's 15 legs in here, so I think all should be well. I'm just using my square to make sure everything's level before I screw it into place, and I did this all the way along, and it is good for you to do this because there can be twists in the joists, etc. So because I took a turn for the worse, I decided to actually leave the floor off, or rather the OBS boards off, so they didn't get saturated with water or snow. So I did actually do some prep, and I cut most of the framework for the walls, the noggins and whatever else, which turned out to be some good preparation. So something to point out here, when I did actually measure out the joist, I measured them at 4 foot exactly, and the reason for this is that I've actually added extra material. You should actually be able to see the extra material, and that's just freebie tools, and that's just off the old shed. The timber itself is quite good, so the idea behind this was to give the OBS as much meat, if you will, to sit on, therefore in my logic to make the floor even better and to reduce the spacing. That's the logic behind it. So I had the material there, and I thought I would do that. So the well, I decided to maintain itself, so I basically decided to leave the OBS boards off till the following day. So here you can just see us packing up one side, and I'm just actually working out the slope. I'm just going backwards and forwards till I get a decent slope that I'm happy with visually. And it did actually work out that the front is actually going to be 10 inches taller than the back wall. So as you can see, the well did actually get a little worse during the night. We had a good downfall of snow. It did keep off for the rest of the day, which I was very thankful for. So I did actually get to lay the boards down. So I just use 19mm OBS. I have used this in the past, and I haven't really had any problems with it. There's actually going to be rubber matting that's going to cover the whole entire floor of the workshop when it's done. So I'm not too bothered about using the OBS. So when I was putting the OBS down, I was only putting a couple of screws in it, and this was just to make sure that by the time I got to the other end, there wasn't any great discrepancies, and I just worked my way along and maybe put 1 or 2 screws in as I went. Same again, just to make sure, so I didn't have to take out a bunch of screws if there was any discrepancies when I got to the other side. So here I actually noticed that there's a bit of frozen mud on the framework, which is stopping the OBS from sitting flat on the framework. So this is the last piece, and there was a slight overhang. Obviously you've got to cut this off. This is a section of the old shed. I've just used the OBS. In hindsight, I probably should have, and I do actually wish I had have just bought the extra boards, but because of the price I'd already spent, you know, on timber, I'd already spent upwards of £900 on all of the timber, so I was trying to keep costs down. Same again, these were actually sections of the old shed. They were actually pre-cut because the old shed was 10 foot in width. So basically just used them. Again, you know, maybe I should have used new material, but it's in now and it's not the end of the world. So with all the pieces fitted, I was just left to put the intermediate screws in. So just use my chalk line again. I'm really actually liking the chalk line. I don't particularly use one regularly, but as you can see, it does make short work and gives you accurate lines. You know, things like this for screws, quite good. So basically just got all the lines in for the intermediate joists, and just put the rest of the screws in. That's it for this one, guys. In the next video you'll see us making the walls and putting the walls up. Let us know what you think in the comments. If you like it, give us a like, and I'd appreciate it if you subscribed if you're not already subscribed. Thanks for watching, guys.